This product is just the best contour product I've ever tried. Bonjour! I haven't done a makeup video here on YouTube in quite some time, so that's what we're gonna do today. With the summer coming, I find that I have a lot of new favorite products in my everyday routine. Some products have been released quite recently, some others are a little bit older, but I'm just loving them again. If you're new here, my name is Justine, I'm a makeup artist, and I usually share content about the makeup artist career or my pro makeup kit, but today we're gonna talk about my personal favorites and what's inside my makeup baskets, so make sure to subscribe if you like everything that's makeup related. My current favorite foundation is the Too Faced Born This Way, but in the matte version, and I'm using the shade Almond. I used to use this foundation a few years ago and I really loved it. And I thought that for the summer, the matte version could be a good fit because I have a combination skin, so my forehead gets quite oily, especially in the summer when it's hot. And honestly, I am very happy with it because I think it's one of the most long-lasting foundations that I own. You know that I'm a big fan of anything that's glowy, anything that's dewy. I don't find it overly matte, probably because I have a combination skin, so it kind of like balances out. I would say that it's more of a natural finish, on my skin at least. And I think that the shade Almond is one of the best shade match I've ever had. I'm just dabbing it on my face with a beauty blender, and this is an actual beauty blender. I haven't used the brand in like years and years. I think when they first started to get popular, I bought one or two of their sponges, and then I kind of, tried different brands, tried brands that were a little bit more affordable because they're quite expensive for a sponge. But now that I'm trying this one again, honestly, I think it's worth it. It's so soft and so bouncy, like no other sponges that I've tried. So I got that much coverage only with one pump, so it's actually pretty good. I could add more if I want a fuller coverage, but I'm also going to apply some concealer, so I'd rather leave it like that for now. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, but my skin is not matte. Honestly, I find it still pretty glowy. I mean, I put a lot of moisturizer obviously before applying the foundation, so that probably helps, but like, doesn't look cakey, doesn't look matte, it's just how I like it. Now for the concealer, I'm actually gonna use Too Faced again, the Born This Way concealer. It's very popular. It's still to this day one of the best concealers I've ever tried, and I keep going back to it just because it has such a good coverage, not cakey, super natural, and because the format is actually pretty decent. Like when you buy it, it lasts me for months, so it's also a great value. And as I was telling you, I'd rather have a thinner layer of foundation with a lighter coverage and then do some sort of spot concealing with my concealer, just to have a more natural effect. So this applicator is really good for that technique. So I'm just going to apply some under my eyes, here, and on my chin. My skin is actually pretty good right now. I still have some dark spots here on my cheeks because that's usually where I get breakouts, especially after wearing the mask for so long. I feel like my skin is covered in dark spots. And then I'm just blending it with my beauty blender again. Now that we have our base, I'm lightly going to set my T-zone with some powder. You've seen this one in my videos before. It's the Ambient Light Setting Powder from Hourglass. It's still one of my favorites, very light texture, and because it's the summer, I want to be ultra glowy, very natural. This one has a lot of little shimmery particles that reflects the light, so even though it's powder, it still gives you this glowy effect. It will control the oil of your skin, but without looking too matte or dry. It's also a really good powder if you have a dry skin. I only applied powder on my T-zone, and now I'm gonna move to the brows. Now for the brows, I'm gonna start by applying a clear gel. I'm not gonna tell you too much about it yet because I'm gonna make a video about all these products that no one is talking about and that are super good. So that's gonna be on my channel in just a few weeks. I'm just coating coating my brows in the clear gel, and then I'm giving the shape that I want. So usually I like to give them this sort of fluffy, laminated kind of look. I'm gonna give the gel a minute to dry, and in the meantime I'm going to apply a nude eyeshadow all over my lids just to create a sort of blank canvas. And for all the eyeshadows I'm gonna be using the Super Nudes palette from Charlotte Tilbury, one of my staples. I use it almost every day, and I'm actually just going to do it with my finger. Just because I don't need to be precise or anything, the shadow that I'm using is literally the exact same color as my skin tone. And now let's go back to the brows. So I'm just gonna come and fill in the little gaps that I have with the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen that you see me using all the time. Still one of my absolute favorites, very affordable. The shade is great, and I mostly work on this part of my brows because I really don't have a lot of hair. Done for the brows. I always do the same thing. And now for the eyes, so I'm thinking of doing just a simple colored liner. So I'm just gonna come and pick up some of this shade. So it's a sort of neutral, warm kind of brown, just to define my crease and to give my eye a little bit of dimension. I'm placing the intensity right here, kind of packing all the pigments. And then I'm just going to look straight and bring it just above my crease. Looking straight at a mirror like that really helps to place your crease when you have a hooded eye like I do. Once the crease is blended, I'm also blending my eyeshadow here a little bit outwards, just to elongate the shape of my eye and to lift it a little bit more as well. And then I'm just building the intensity. I want a sort of natural look today, so I'm not gonna go much darker than that. And I'm also going to apply the same shade just halfway on my lower lash line and kind of connect it here at the outer corner of my eye. And now for the liner, I'm going to use the COLORFIX from DANESSA MYRICKS in the shade Chocolate. I've talked about the COLORFIX so many times, they are my all-time favorites. This shade though, I would not call it chocolate because it has a lot of red undertones, so it's actually more of a burgundy color, I would say, which is fine, like that's the kind of vibe that I want to go with today, but definitely not a chocolate. I love the COLORFIX because you can do pretty much anything with it. I use them in so many different ways, and also because they're very long lasting, especially in the winter because of my hooded eyes. When I do a liner, it tends to smudge and transfer pretty easily, and I don't have this issue with the COLORFIX, so that's another very good point. And to apply it, I'm gonna use the brush from INGLOT, the 30T. It's probably my favorite liner brush. I usually get the best results when I'm using it, so let's hope that today is a good liner day for me. So I'm just squeezing a little bit out on a plexi, coating my brush really well with products, and then let's do it. Okay, I didn't do pretty bad, taking into consideration that it's hard to do it in front of a camera. Obviously, it's not my usual setup. And in case you're wondering about the shape, you probably know that hooded eyes are a little bit different than regular eyelids, so I have to create this sort of bat wing. So when I'm looking straight, it looks like a regular liner. That's the best technique to use for my hooded eyes people, but I'm sure you've already seen it 1,000 times on TikTok. I'm gonna do the second eye off camera and I'll see you in a second. I am done with the liner. I'm always having issue on this side because my eyelid is a little bit more hooded on this side than on this one, so I always end up with two different wings, which is fine. I can fix it. Now I'm going to apply some eyelashes. I ordered this pair that has quite of a different shape. It's everything is like on the outer corner, which is exactly what I want today. I love how there is barely any hair on the inner corner and it's very concentrated on the outer corner, so it's really gonna help me with this elongated kind of eye shape that I'm going for. I'm really curious to see how it's gonna look on my eye shape because I've actually never used this style of lashes before. I'm going to trim a little bit of the outer part of the lash just because it's way too long for my eye. Now that my lashes are ready to be put on, I'm just going to apply a quick coat of mascara. I will tell you more about this mascara from Velour Lashes in one of my future videos, just because it has a different formula that I want to tell you more about. Lashes are on. They look pretty good. I wish they were a little bit more dramatic, I have to say, and I rarely say that. But yeah, I wish they were maybe a little bit longer on this part here. But I have to say that they look more expensive than they actually were, so that's good. Now we can go back to the complexion, and I'm gonna use one of my new ultimate favorites. It's the contour stick from WESTMAN Atelier. I don't know if you've ever heard about this brand, but it's now being sold at Sephora here in Canada since like a couple of months maybe, but I know some people really like their products. It's a brand that's quite bougie. This contour stick is $68. It feels high-end though. The packaging is quite heavy. There is a magnet. The product itself is absolutely fantastic. It's just like butter. It's super easy to blend. It looks very natural. And this shade is the shade Biscuit, and it's perfect for people with a fair skin tone like mine, just because so many contour shades are actually quite warm. They look more like a bronzer on a skin tone like mine. When this shade is a lot cooler, it's like almost gray kind of, so it does really look like a shadow when it's blended on the face. That's why it's in today's video. It's because it's honestly really good. So I'm going to apply just a little bit here under my cheekbone, same thing on the other side. I'm gonna do a little dot here on my forehead too, and always a little bit on the double chin. And then I'm just going to blend it with a brush. See how it's like blending in so nicely in like just a few seconds. It's great, like it's done. This product is just the best contour product I've ever tried. Now I'm gonna move on to the bronzer, and my favorite one is obviously a creamy product. It's the cream bronzer from DANESSA MYRICKS. It is such a pretty color for fair skin tones once again, just because it's not too orangey, and because of the creamy to powder kind of texture, it blends really well and looks very natural. I'm just applying it with a big fluffy brush, and I'm like dabbing it. And I like to have a generous hand with the bronzer, especially in the summer, because I don't tan at all, I would say, because of the sunscreen and of my skin in general. Like, I get tan on the body but rarely on my face. I use self-tanning drops though, the one from Isle Paradise. They are really good, but I'm going for a look that's a little bit more bronzy. And now for the blush, I'm going to use the Huda Beauty, these new cream blushes that came out just a few weeks ago. And I have the shade Rebel Red. So it's very dark for my skin tone. It would look amazing on deeper skin tones, but it still works on mine, just because as Kelly Gooch, I don't know if you follow her YouTube channel, but she's absolutely amazing. She keeps talking about how she likes her blush to look like a sunburn almost, which a lot of people find weird, but I love it. I think it looks super cute. Not fully sunburn, but like afternoon at the park. And to apply it, I'm just gonna pick up some product with a brush. I don't like to apply the stick directly on my face because I'm always scared that it's gonna move the layers that I have under it. Just lightly pressing it on my cheekbones. Because it's such a deep red, I have to be very delicate and to apply the tiniest amount. And if you noticed, I mostly use creamy products just because that's what's gonna give you this glowy, summery, no makeup kind of look. That's very trendy right now. So any product that I can find in a cream or liquid formula, I'm going for it. And I'm also going almost on my under eye. That's what's gonna give the most natural effect. A little bit on the nose, little bit on my forehead, just what's left on my brush. The formula is good too, but that's really the shade that I'm in love with. Now for the highlight, I'm gonna grab another product from WESTMAN Atelier, another one of their sticks. This one is just a clear balm, I would say. There is a little bit of shimmer in it, but you can barely see it on the skin. But that's what's gonna give you this glass skin effect. This one is the shade Nectar. They also have 2 other shades for deeper skin tones. And I'm actually gonna apply it just with my finger. So I'm picking up some product and I'm just going to dab it here on the high points of my cheekbones. See how it's like wet, glowy? It's not shiny, it's not shimmery. And that's something that I love for the summer. And it doesn't look oily or greasy, it just looks, I want to say sweaty, but like, is there another term that's a positive way of sweating? Now for my lips, without any surprise, I'm gonna use the NYX lip liner in the shade Sandstorm. The issue that I have being a makeup artist is that every time I'm buying a nice lip liner or a nice makeup product, I put it right away in my kit and I don't keep it for myself. So most of the time I will always use this one lip liner that I love. So I'm just overdrawing my lips a little bit to get a little bit more volume, yes, but mostly because my lips are quite asymmetrical, so I'm just trying to correct that. And to finish this look, I'm just going to apply a little bit of gloss just to give a little bit more dimensions to my lips. I'm going to use the Lip Injection Extreme from Too Faced. Again, so many Too Faced products actually in my favorites. And this one is the shade Tangerine Dream. It has a sort of orangey tint. It's not really visible, but because I'm going for really warm tones with this makeup, I think that could be a great addition. And I obviously like the fact that it makes my lips a little bit more plump. And something that I've really enjoyed using lately is FRECK. This product that's popular every summer just to make some freckles. I like how it creates the illusion that the skin is bare, that you're not wearing any makeup. So you would be able to see your freckles naturally. So I'm just making a few dots. And then I'm dabbing them with my finger just to blend them a little bit. And we're done with this makeup. So we have a nice summery soft glam, really fine textures, very glowy, very bronzy. That's probably the type of makeup that I'm gonna be doing all summer, with obviously some little variations, but I think the base will be the same. Let me know in the comments which ones are your favorite makeup products for this coming summer. Don't forget to subscribe and to like this video if you want to support me, and I will leave a video here for you if you want to watch next, where I'm showing you everything that's in my pro makeup kit. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bisous!